Hello everybody, welcome to my weekly live update show kind of thing. If you're just tuning in, I guess the first thing, I don't like doing this first, but I'm going to do it first. Give a thumbs up if you like my channel and like my live streams. This weekly live stream that I do is to recap you on the events of last week, where I'm at right now, what I'm planning on doing, and explain the most pressing issues. So thank you all so much for joining me, and I see a ton of people just popped in, so yeah, give it a thumbs up. Awesome. I'm glad. I see some people are commenting saying that they're getting this in their feed really quickly. That's awesome. I want to jump straight into the video I put out today, what happened yesterday, and basically the video I put out today, just an hour, 2 hours ago, I shot that video like, I kid you not, 8 times. Trying to figure out what I needed to talk about. The video probably would have been a half an hour long because there's a lot more that I didn't say that I can say now. Let me say this. I have been physically attacked by anarchists, left-wing people several times. And it's one thing when I go to an event and the average person is cool, right? Yesterday in Boston, on the Antifa side, I actually knew some of those people. And if you watch my stream, you will have seen, you've probably heard me talking about it, that one of my friends, I didn't know which side she was on, I gave her a hug, and she was acting confused, like, why would anybody give you shit? There was this guy that he's been doxxed now, I guess, who got up in my face, swung at me. That is definition assault. In Massachusetts, assault is defined as taking action with the intent to touch someone without their consent or induce bodily harm. He lunged at me, he got in my face. That's what assault is. In Illinois, it's very similar. In New York, it's not. In New York, assault requires contact that leaves an injury. New York's pretty strict on what they define as assault. It's got to be like an actual strike. In Illinois, it's very similar that if you go up to somebody and go like that to them, like make them flinch, that's assault. Battery is when you touch someone without their consent. And so typically assault and battery are together in that charge, right? So I will say this, the Antifa guy in the mask did assault me, and by the legal definition. I moderately threatened by these people, mostly annoyed. I don't really care too much. Like if this guy wants to get in my face and, flick me off, block my camera and all that stuff, I'll stand my ground, right? I can see you, I know what you're doing, I know who you are, I know why you're doing it. But yesterday was sort of the final grain of sand that makes a heap. So there's the saying, right? It's if you have a bunch of sand and you add a grain, one grain at a time, at what point is that grain, or does that pile become a heap of sand? At what point is it just 7 grains of sand or a heap? Yesterday to me was the moment where the grains of sand turned into a heap. And I've decided that these low-level, like American partisan fighting events, I shouldn't be going to for more than just the reasons of someone attacking me, right? So let me say a few things. I said this in the video, so forgive me if I'm reiterating a lot of this. These events, the free speech rallies, I went to Berkeley because it was a culmination on the 15th of what happened with Milo and then the rise of Base Stickman. And so I was like, this is escalating. Then we saw on the 27th, de-escalation. And then we saw yesterday in Boston, further de-escalation. Let me say this. I have had people follow me out of events or just follow me in general. And it's creepy as shit. Like I said in the video I made, look, if you're going to walk on a public sidewalk and you're going to walk behind me and it's weird, sure, whatever. You can do that. It's freaky to me and I don't like it, but at the same time, I get it, right? People are going to do weird things. I have had people actually try to enter my Ubers, like walk up and be like, hey, and like try and get in. And that's like really weird for me because it puts me in a position where I have to confront this person, like, who are you and what are you doing and why are you trying to get in this car with me? And I have actually had people actually get in the Uber with me, okay? So I didn't say that in the video because I'm not going to elaborate too much on that. But I've actually had people get in my car and like ride with me and then I'm like, And they're talking to me and they're asking me about, they're really excited. Oh, it's cool to meet you. And so I'm okay, I'll go along with it. But that stuff's pretty weird. I have had people come into restaurants where I'm eating and just sit there staring at me. And again, I never talk about this because I understand that people are going to do this kind of thing. And I don't want to be mean to people simply because they like me and what I do. Yesterday, some guy came up to me and actually grabbed me. It was this thing that they had been planning. It's funny, ha ha ha. Let's go up right behind Tim with a camera and grab him. That to me is the final grain of sand where I'm like, these creepy stalkers, right? I really don't even want to be mean to the stalkers because I appreciate that these people really like me that much. But what I don't like is that when I'm at an event where these people, they threaten me all the time. I've had someone email me my own address, just blank, just like, here's your address. And I'm like, I don't know what that means, right? Okay, great, you know where I live. And they get up in my face, they call me a Nazi, they say I'm a Nazi sympathizer. They put their hand in front, they lunge at me, they swing at me. And then someone thinks it's funny at this event to come up and come up from behind me and grab my head, pull my head off. The only reason I didn't knock that guy's teeth out was because I was surrounded by Boston PD. So this is what really pisses me off. You want to know what pisses me off? Is that at these events, I know that if I do anything to retaliate or defend myself, I will be arrested. Okay? I don't have the option of being arrested. One of the guys from the rally crossed over with a Pepsi and was trying to hand it to this young woman, and she slapped it away, and then a bunch of Antifa ran up behind her, and the guy put up his fists, punched her in the face, and the police arrested them both, right? It doesn't matter who's at fault. It matters that if there is a confrontation, regardless, the police arrest everyone. And so that means these people, these creepy weirdos who are going online and talking about me, who I don't even know who the hell they are they think they're entitled to come up and put their hands on me, and there's nothing I can fucking do about it. So I understand there's some people that I'm getting comments, I'm getting thumbs down from people who are like, haha, Tim, shut up, fuck you. You know what? Fuck you, right? That's what I'm gonna say. I have a right to go and do my thing without people fucking with me. And I understand that with high profile comes risk. So the real issue is not that I didn't expect these things to happen. Absolutely. You may have noticed that I actually was wearing a hoodie because these people have been, this is long-standing campaign of stalking me because they're specifically coming after me to fuck with me. So I'm not wearing my button-up, I'm wearing a hoodie because I know that these weird, creepy motherfuckers are trying to track me down. And this was the line where I'm sick and tired of, I shouldn't say I'm sick and tired, it's I knew this day was going to come when random strange people would laugh and giggle running up to me and touching me and doing weird things, and then it happened. And so now I have to consider a few things. There are people who actually want to hurt me. There are people who are spreading lies about me and who have literally tried to get me killed. And now I've got other crazy weirdos who follow me around, try and get into cars with me, come to restaurants where I'm eating, and now are actually planning on coming up and grabbing me. There's no point for me to go to these events. These events are small, and I shouldn't be, I guess. So how many times are you going to repeat yourself? Yeah, I'm going to keep repeating myself because I'm fucking pissed off. I'm going to go to Korea probably. That's what I'm looking to do that. And I'm not going to cover these partisan fights. It's more than just I'm pissed off that some creepy motherfuckers are following me around and doing weird shit. Like, these are weird people. Okay, I'll just say that. I got a super chat. Keep covering free speech if you care about free speech. Don't endanger yourself, but cover it. Well, look, the issue with what I've done in the past, over the past several years, Brazil, Sao Paulo, during the mass bus protests, I was down there. I was down in Brazil twice over the course of a year. I was in Venezuela for the student protests, and I was chased out because creepy stalker people want to get me hurt. I was in Ukraine for Euromaidan, which butted into the civil war. Egypt. I've been to a lot of places. Covering domestic stuff is, to me, tends to be not so important, right? these, things like Ferguson, Baltimore, good. These are big news events that are shaping the national discourse. Trayvon Martin, things like that. The Black Lives Matter stuff was huge, and everyone was talking about it. People were fighting about it. And so I'll go down there and see what's going on. But these free speech rallies are just like small, local, little events where too many people know who I am, and that puts me in the spotlight amongst these people, to where Antifa's going to threaten me, and then random weirdos are going to follow me around and grab me. I don't want to go to that. I don't want to cover that, and I'm not going to anymore. So yeah, I don't know. Let me jump into some questions. Well, first of all, I'll say rad that you guys are all watching. I really appreciate it. I used to do these streams on a different app, and I'd get nowhere near this many viewers, but I really do appreciate it. And if you like hanging out, give a thumbs up, because it definitely helps. So let me say this. Believe it or not, I don't like being on camera, and I usually don't talk about this, but you may notice that when I do live streams, when I first started doing live streams, you couldn't see me. I'm behind the camera, because it was never my intention to be an on-camera person. However, I'm also not stupid, and I know that if I want to be able to do what I do with freedom and with support, I have to be on camera, and so I do. And that comes with the inherent risks of people from Antifa posting pictures of my mom, which I certainly don't appreciate. By the way, if my mom's watching, Happy Mother's Day. Sorry, I was driving back from Boston, and so right when I got back, it was 8 o'clock, and I'll do the stream, and I'll call you once I'm done. But Antifa posted a picture of me and my mom's social media accounts, and that, I don't like that. When I first got press attention from Occupy Wall Street, people started digging through my Facebook and doxing my family members, and I don't like that either. And this stuff really sucks, and I never talk about it. I never talk about it because I don't want to highlight these issues, and I want to keep doing, hi Tim's mom, I want to keep doing my thing unimpeded. When it comes to the point where strange weirdos come up and grab me. So will I still cover big breaking domestic stories? Hell yeah, of course. I'm not going to miss that. But for example, there is a rally happening in New Orleans in June where I've got a bunch of people asking me if I'm going to go, because there's going to be like a Confederate monument defense versus Antifa. No, I'm not going to go to that. Nope. It's just these weird factional fights that are going on are becoming more about, no matter what you do, you're on someone's side, and then I don't feel like I'm actually doing anything that is really beneficial to anybody. If I go to Europe and cover migrant issues, right, no one from the left and the right in the US will come to me and fuck with me, and I can do my thing. I can go to Greece and stand in Ammonia Square talking to refugee drug dealers safely, without issue. And that kind of content is extremely important, much more important than going and watching a live action role play from anarchists and guys wearing Centurion armor. So I guess what I should be saying is that I'm stupid, this is my fault, and I'm going to these events simply because they're close in proximity and they're domestic, they're easy to get to, and they're happening. And I should do a better job of finding more important stories internationally, particularly focused on the migrant crisis. And while I'll say I neither condemn nor condone the actions that Lauren Southern has taken in Italy, what she is doing covering those issues makes me a bit ashamed to be going to something like a free speech rally. I understand that she got on a boat and she tried to block an NGO ship that was leaving port. It was empty. And so a lot of people are pissed, a lot of people are impressed, and I can understand both sides. However, I will say this too, I lean a little bit more towards I would advise Laura not to do that. However, I recognize why she's doing it, and mostly I kind of stay out of it. But I told like Luke and them, I'm just too liberal for what they're doing. But I get it. It's a crazy situation. Regardless of whether or not what she's doing is right or wrong, I was in Europe with Luke and Lauren in Paris, and they said they were going to Italy to do migrant issues, and I was like, I'm going to figure out where I'm going, and I came back to New York, and I ended up going to these stupid little rallies where the creepy guy comes up and grabs me, and I feel stupid for doing it. So, that being said, rant over. I'm back in New Jersey. I don't actually live in New York. I live in the New York Metro, but not in New York. So now, someone said I'm the based cuck. Yep, that's right. I made that another video that I made recently was about the red pill and Lacey Green. Someone said, Tim, you're a victim of your own success. Yeah, I guess so. Do an AMA while you're alive. Yeah, this is like an AMA, right? Yeah, Lauren, someone said Lauren equals activist now. Yep, I would not disagree with that. Yeah, and that's what I said too. There's a news aggregate called Storyful that is now referring to Lauren Southern as an activist. And she was referred to as a commentator before, but now she's an activist. Justin Mars Super Chat. Petty nonsense isn't worth your time. I agree that you can cover events more successfully if you are less recognized. Your international coverage is more meaningful and interesting. That's my point. I feel like getting involved in this partisan fighting is just it's kind of emotionally satisfying to a lot of people. Typically because it tends to be Antifa on the left who are saying, I'm not trying to be a dick or take I don't want to take sides on this, but Antifa, they were screaming things like, you're all white supremacist Nazis, and like, I'm Jewish. And there's like people at the rally who are totally Jewish, and it's just, they really don't know what they're talking about. If more people know you, the more you are prone for things like that. Get a personal security guard. You're learning what famous people have to deal with. Well, let me say this, right? I've been doing this for 6 years. I was attacked during Occupy. And I had a group of friends that I was working with that, look, when we're doing things in New York, it's really easy to have a group of friends walk around with each other and watch your back. It's different when, I don't live with a crew anymore. I mean, this was back when I was 25 and I'm 31. Friends have gotten married and taken jobs, and it's what happens when you get old. And I drove up to Boston by myself. So there are people who think it's funny to fuck with me. There are people who think it's funny to shit talk me in the comments. By all means, you can say whatever the fuck you want to me. You can call me a fucking retarded bald moron. I really don't give a shit. I see in the comments, you're allowed to do that. That doesn't bother me in the least bit. What bothers me is that people think they have the right to put their hands on me. I don't give a shit if you touch my hat. You come up and grab my shoulder. I'm gonna fucking knock you out. Don't fucking sneak up on me and touch me, especially not when we're at an event where some guy just got in my face. Shit. I don't want to keep talking about it. That shit pisses me off. You know what really pisses me off? Last thing I'll say on this. Last thing that really pisses me off is that I couldn't punch him back, okay? This is what bothers me. You come into my neighborhood, you walk up to me from behind, and you smack me in the head, and I'll deck you, okay? And you know what? I'm not saying I'm gonna win, but I'm gonna certainly try to fuck you up. Don't fuck with me. Whoa, shit. Big ol' super chat. Appreciate everything that you have done. The one thing I would like to say is to quote MLK, the measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort and convenience, but where he stands at times of challenge and controversy. Please stay safe. Jeffrey Levin, thank you very much. It was a very generous super chat. Seriously. I have no words. That was amazing. Seriously, appreciate it. Someone's quoting me, I've never been in a fight before and I don't intend to start now. I want to clarify something else too. Wow. That was a fantastic super chat, man. When the Antifa guy walks up to me, what I mean to say is not that I won't fight somebody, because that's not true. It's that I'm not going to arbitrarily punch some guy in the face simply because he comes up to me and he gets in my face. I'm not that hot-tempered, I guess. The guy got up in my face, and he went like this to me, and he's like, come on, tough guy, lay it on me. And I'm like, I'm not gonna punch you, are you crazy? Now, if that guy grabbed my phone, yeah, we'd be fighting, right? There was a guy during Occupy who smacked my phone out of my hand, and I grabbed his arm and pulled his arm in and locked it. And I'll tell you, look, Google search right now, Tim Pool attacked Occupy. It was on like New Year's Day, I think. And you can see me all about to fight this guy. The reason I didn't punch this guy, he was a black bloc guy. The reason I didn't punch him in the face was that I'd get arrested. So I grabbed his arm and I just held him. And I thought, you know what? I can't hit you, But if I grab him and I hold him down, people can't accuse me of starting the fight. They could only accuse me of trying to stop the fight. But I'm not going to let this motherfucker hit me and then run for it. But the police came in and just pulled him off of me and let him go. That, so I guess, yeah. I'm thinking of Tim Pool fighting around the world. Tim Pool, tough guy. I don't consider myself a tough guy, not in the least bit. I just get really, really pissed off. You want to know how to piss me off more than anything is beat me in a game of Hearthstone, okay? Do you guys play Hearthstone? When I lose a game of Hearthstone, you have no idea. If you came to my house while I was playing Hearthstone, you'd probably get scared. I'll say this, if I was sitting in the same room with the person who beat me in a game of Hearthstone, I don't know what it is about that game, but for the love of God, when I lose, it's just because you know what? Look, I will self-diagnose myself right now to all of you. I know what makes me tick, and I know what makes me angry. And you know what makes me angry about the guy in Boston, and what makes me angry about losing a game of Hearthstone and other video games is that I am a control freak. I have planned out everything that I'm doing. I know exactly what I need to do, how I need to do it, and why I need to do it. And I have reasons for almost everything I do. I do very little sporadically. Breaking news stuff is random, tends to be random and last minute, out of my control, and I recognize that. But someone coming up behind me, taking my hat and filming me removes my control of the situation, especially when I can't punch you in the face because the police are surrounding me. That strips me of my control, and that leaves me with a blinding rage, okay? This is what pisses me off, and I'm not going to put myself in these situations. And that's why when I'm sitting on my couch watching TV and I'm playing Hearthstone, and someone fucking draws the perfect turn 7 drop, and their curve is just on point, and I'm like, dude, the only thing I'm pulling is shit I can't play because the mana cost is too high, or for the fucking past 4 turns I've only got my 1 drops, and then this dude drops a motherfucking 6/5 hyena, and then I'm just like, there's literally nothing I can fucking do. That's when I get angry. But most of the stuff that I do is so meticulous, so thought out, like a game of chess, that I tend not to come into these situations. So, someone say, what, play Cthulhu? Play Cthulhu Priest. I'll say another thing too, right? Why I'm mad about the hat. A lot of people are saying, take the beanie off. Tim, you're bald. Well, no fucking shit, you guys. Of course I don't have fucking hair. Why do you think I wear the hat? I'm not wearing the hat because I take issue with the fact that I don't have hair. Find a photo of me as a teenager without a hat on. You can't do it, okay? The hat has been a part of, the various different hats that I've worn throughout my life have just been a part of my style. Because I can explain something to you about skateboard culture. People do things to have style, right? So I used to tie a shoelace around my wrist. Some people put gloves in their back pocket. Some kids used to wear business suit jackets while they skated. Today, a lot of kids will wear pants that don't quite go all the way down to their feet. They're to their ankles. And so it's part of the culture to have a style. When you wear new clothes, when you wear your outfit, it makes you feel powerful, it makes you feel confident. And that's the same thing for me. What pisses me off about the guy taking my hat is not because I don't have any hair. It's because first of all, it's something I've been cultivating for 6 years. There's no photo of me in any press anywhere without the hat on. And that for me, it gives me this, I don't know how to describe it, but it's like a scenario. It's something that I've cultivated and I control, and that at any moment I could take my hat off and be a different person, on camera or otherwise, right? And that also means that people right now saying take the beanie off, they're saying pay him to take the beanie off. So you may have heard me say in Berkeley, once I hit 1 million subs, I'll take my hat off, right? These are things that I have cultivated about me and about my brand and my show, my YouTube, that gives me options to have fun, to do interesting things. Or I could be like, I also said on one stream that if someone donates $10,000, I'll take my hat off on a live stream or something. And someone comes up and just fucks with me. Do you wear the hat in the pool? You guys want to know the truth is that if you came over to my house and we went skating, I wouldn't be wearing the hat. Tim Pool did nothing worth 1488. Antifa will start calling you a skinhead. Let's see. I'm gonna pop over some super chats. Thanks, Brian Connor, for the couple bucks. Someone said, "LMAO, dude, I'd knock you out," and then they called me the N-word. Someone up here said, "Long live Kekistan, the great nation of Kek will be free." Someone said, "Shadowley, my dude." If more people, oh yeah, so we're all caught up. Thanks for the super chats, man. Seriously, wow, $500. Hold on, knock someone the fuck out. I never said that I'd win the fight. You guys get me all wrong. I would just I see red and you know, don't fuck with me. I never said I'd win, you know, but I'll punch you in the teeth. So if you're a good fighter, then sure, you'll probably beat my ass, but you will get a fight from me for sure. Someone said I'm a bald faggot. Mustache did nothing wrong. They're just creepy people, man. Gas that like button. 500 is credit card fraud. All right, well, what did someone say? 20K to eat his own head. All right. You know, so the hard thing about all of these, about the regular chat, is that I just can't keep up with the questions. Discuss what to cover next. Thank you. Before I do that, hey, if you're just tuning in, smash that like button, because that helps. And let's see, you're a conflict journalist. This is conflict. Please use your fame to generate support and free protection at these events. We need more eyes in the field to hold people accountable. I understand that, and I'm just going to try and avoid smaller political theater. So if there is a bigger event and it's something that's going to be like a big story, I'll definitely cover it. Why didn't you cover the Science March? Let me tell you something about the Science March and my plans for potentially covering it. Did you know that the people who attended the Science March, most of them don't actually believe in science? And that's true. Because you can see it in, what is this? What's someone, MX200, I don't know what that is. Neutron till the world blow. All right. I've got a really good idea for a video that I might do, a man on the street, where I'm going to, so let me just tell you a story. Let me tell you a story. I went to this liberal guy and I said, you're like a liberal, are you a feminist? And he said, yes, I am. And I said, okay, let me ask you a question. If I presented to you a scientific peer-reviewed journal and it presented some fact, would you believe it to be true? And he said, very aptly, and I agree with, well, just one journal, maybe are there any other studies that have done to support it? And I said, good question. What if I produced 3 studies, 3 different peer-reviewed journals that asserted a fact? And he said, yeah, I think I'd be more inclined to believe that. Well, guess what? I can pull up peer-reviewed journals that say the craziest shit. Racist shit, sexist shit, just really fucked up shit. And this is one of the reasons why I consider myself to be like neutral, nihilistic, moderate. You know, people call me liberal, and I think that's fair because I'm from a city, but for the most part, I do feel fairly moderate, because when people talk about the science of race, gender, and all that stuff, I don't know. I really don't. I see there's a bunch of conflicting science. And then there's the politicizing of science. And you get the left saying these journals are true and the right saying these journals are true. And the reality is the minutia, the breaking down a lot of these scientific journals. And it's really hard to know exactly what is the truth when it comes to newer studies. And the other issue, too, is that there's always newer studies coming out. There's a photo that's it's like a meme, and it says, this is why the mainstream media is BS. And I believe it's Time Magazine. They published 2 articles within like an hour. One said, coffee can help reduce your risk of cancer. And the next article, guess what it said? It said, coffee, it increases your risk for cancer. And the thing is, different scientific studies, tons of them. And it's really hard to know when they do a study and they say, okay, so we had people drink coffee over 10 years and they were less likely to get cancer. Well, it's hard to know exactly what about the drink. Was it having a hot drink in the morning? Was it having a drink in the morning? Was it having caffeine in the morning? Did they have coffee in the morning? So the point is, I could make a video where I take a stack of peer-reviewed journals that are horrifyingly racist and sexist, and then go ask some Science March liberals if they believe in peer-reviewed journals, and then show them, and they'll be like, that's bullshit, that's not true. The reality is, and I learned this a long time ago, people have faith, not, everything is faith-based. What you believe is faith. What is true to you is your faith. And so that means someone read in a book or watched a TV program or talked to someone they trust, and that person gave them information and they believe it to be true. And that's it. And then we end up with the right and the left. Tim is way serious, guys. You know it. Tim, you're a faggot. No, I'm straight. But you can keep trying. But let's pop over to Super Chat. What do you think about South Koreans' opinions about the possibility of actual war with the North? Are they jaded? Actually, I don't know. I'm not in contact with I don't even know who the Korean side of my family is, like my mom. My grandma passed away a while ago, so I don't actually know. But with North Korea just announced that their missile launch what they said was that it could carry a nuclear warhead and hit the U.S. So maybe saber rattling happens all the time. Is this the moment? I don't know. But I figured whether or not it is or isn't, it's certainly newsworthy at this point to go on the ground, experience South Korea, meet some people, and talk to them about, what's going on. Will you go to Lebanon? Drug and war story there. Yeah, maybe. Lebanon's actually pretty nice, like Beirut. It's pretty nice. When you get to the north, then it can get really dangerous, and with the border with Israel, it can be pretty dangerous. Someone said, I owe you a beer. Shout out to Inner Heaven, gang, he will nut inside us, and I'm not going to say that last part. Yeah, he will nut inside us. That was what they were saying about Shia LaBeouf. Someone said, Shadalay, my dude, go to Korea, get fucked up on soju on a live stream. Pop over to regular chat here. Will you go to Russia? Dude, I really want to go to Russia. I need to get a visa. Do I believe in God? These are the good questions. I believe in Einsteinian God, right? I guess the way I put it is, whatever the concept of God is, I think everybody has an idea when they think of this supreme authority or power. To me, first of all, I think, and let me say this, I've spoken a lot I grew up Catholic. I don't consider myself Catholic, not for a long time, but a lot of my friends who are Christian have acknowledged to me, I respect this, that it is arrogant of any human to believe they can imagine what God is, right? Because if there is a God, then certainly this God is beyond comprehension. And surprisingly, the majority of my religious friends say absolutely, totally agree. And in that case, that sort of describes my belief in God. I wouldn't necessarily call it a belief either. That's probably incorrect because I base everything off of probability. And the likelihood to me is that there is some kind of overarching system, kind of like a code. We could equate a computer program to how the universe works. Mathematics is us trying to map that code out, and there exists this fundamental there's some kind of structure. Something exists that is beyond our comprehension, beyond our understanding of intelligence. It is a massive system that controls everything, whatever it might be. To me, that's God. So I wouldn't necessarily say I'm agnostic, but it's a kind of agnosticism, I suppose. I just don't like the labels because someone asked me a question that is just absolutely inappropriate. But I will say that Lacey Green is my friend, and I have a lot of respect for her. We've had a lot of awesome conversations. We've had some arguments, but she's certainly not a crazy person. She's certainly nothing like Antifa. I have some friends who are feminists that it's really hard for me to be friends with them because it's just anti-science. You're not allowed to have opinions. But the thing is, if you're nice to me, I'm nice to you. I'm not going to be mean to someone simply because they have political opinions that I don't agree with. But Lacey, we do have our disagreements, but she's good with conversation, right? I can be like, hey, I think this, and her response isn't going to be like, her response is going to be like, I understand why you think that, certainly. Have you ever read this? And I'll be like, I never read that. And we have really good conversations. I think she's actually helped me understand a lot particularly with the concept of gender expression, right? And not so much that I'm like an SJW in that regard, but I understand why people are talking about it, what they think when they say these things. Someone said, presenting Lazy as reasonable. I'm telling you guys, look at her latest video. She certainly is reasonable. I think what happens is, first of all, people grow up, and so I've known her just over a year. It's not like we've like grew up together or anything, but she comes off to me as rational, willing to learn, and having good conversation, and I got tons of respect for that. She's really smart, believe it or not. I think what happens is people take quotes from her or certain situations. Usually what you hear about her comes from someone else highlighting things she's done and criticizing her, and that's it creates an image in people's head of who she is, right? As opposed to actually getting to meet her and hear what she has to say. Someone said, do you hack? And I'm singling that one out because the answer is yes. Are you actually going to go to North Korea? I will certainly not go to North Korea. Yeah, someone's quoting Lacey's "the fuck you white people." Yeah, certainly. Like, I'll say straight up, when Lacey tweeted that, I was texting her and I was like, come on, man, you know. But it is what it is, right? People have emotional reactions to things. People have opinions that you don't like, and it is what it is. But about Lacey is that she's willing to talk about it, and that's the most important thing. You don't have to agree with me. I don't have to agree with you, but if we can sit down, eat tacos, and talk, and at the end of the day, watch a Harry Potter movie, that's progress. That's great. We shouldn't all have the same opinions. We shouldn't homogenize opinion and thought. We should be able to be like, I disagree with you, and here's what I think, but we should be able to actually talk about it, and that's why I think Lacey is probably one of the most important feminists, is that the new video series she's going to do where she has anti-feminist and feminist debate is seriously important to stop this like chaos. Peace over tacos. Yeah, this is what I tell people, because I think I said this on Ruben. I'm friends with Cassandra Fairbanks. Right? I just got off the phone with her. She's amazing, and I'm friends with Lacey, and I think they're both amazing, and they both have very different political views. So I get people on the right saying, my God, are you nuts? How could you be friends with Lacey? And I'm like, because what do friends do? We watch Game of Thrones and eat tacos, you know? We're certainly not going to agree on politics all the time. But we have good discussions, and the same thing is true for Cassandra. And I've had people on the left say, Tim must be a white supremacist or a Nazi because he's friends with Cassandra. And then I'm like, first of all, she's not a Nazi or a white supremacist. And mature adults can be friends while disagreeing on politics. You know, and Cassandra and I certainly have had our disagreements, but we can sit around watching. She'll put on Tucker Carlson, and we'll laugh about it. Friends with women. What do you think of the Young Turks? I had more respect for them when they weren't activists. I have more respect for a lot of journalists when they aren't activists. So when the Young Turks decided to start getting really hardcore, progressive, Anna has been kind of mean. I take issue with mean people because it's not constructive. It doesn't fix the problems. And Cenk has campaigned, he holds progressive rallies. And I think it's fine, I think it's great that they've built this studio and they do this progressive news commentary talk show. They've been hiring reporters, putting them on the ground, but I lose respect for them when they play politics, when they specifically push one political agenda. It is what it is, because this is what works right now, I'll be honest, I know for a fact that if I went on the ground to these events and I played up one side over the other, I'd get significantly more subscribers, significantly more money. Paul Joseph Watson, I think he's about to break like 1 million subs, and that's huge for political YouTube channels, because there's only a few that do politics that break 1 million. Paul is, I believe his Twitter bio said he was a contrarian polemicist. He is simply counterculture and a contrarian, right? So he argues for the sake of arguing. But as someone with a new right-wing perspective, he can push a narrative that speaks to an audience that builds very, very quickly. I don't do that. So you may notice that I have been doing news for just over 6 years now, working with Vice, covering some of the biggest stories in the world, before that independently, and I have much, much less in terms of followers. Because the reason is, when I cover Occupy Wall Street in Ferguson, I get a ton of liberal followers. And then the moment I cover a story like Sweden that counters their perspective on the migrant crisis, they unfollow me. They say, Tim's lying. And the same is true with more far-right people. They watch me saying, wow, Tim's really telling the truth about the migrant crisis. And the moment I actually have like a real conversation with a refugee who's like, my family was murdered and my life is shit, they're like, don't sympathize with these people, and they unfollow me. So it is what it is. Were you happy to just get $500? Hell yeah. Seriously, man. Wow. If you go to my if you go to patreon.com/Timcast and you give at least $1,000 a month, you are welcome to come over and hang out with me. And someone actually does give me over $1,000 a month. Like, it is mind-bogglingly, is that a word? Awesome. Red Ice has more followers than you. A ton of people have more followers than me. I believe, as it comes to YouTube subscribers, I am number 39,000. Yeah. How do you deal with the girl saying you were a fake journalist? You know what's the weird thing is that these people are absolutely nuts. Tim, you should have knocked out that bitch that grabbed you. Disappointed. Yeah. I didn't want to get arrested. Stop being mean to me. No. By all means, be mean to me. Please. Like, you are absolutely allowed to call me a faggot with no spine. You can call me whatever you want. I don't care what you call me. I care if you fuck with me or my family, get physically violent, right? Or my friends, you know. Honestly, I actually care if you get violent with anybody. Like, if I'm out in the street and I see somebody fighting somebody, like, I'm gonna do something about it. Yeah. Man, violence pisses me off. Can I call you Al? What? Someone said you're a cool dude. Thanks, man. Someone said I'm a cuck. Yeah, whatever you want to believe. Will you go to South Africa and cover what's going on there? I've talked about this. Man, dude, you have no idea. I've been fascinated by South Africa for a very, very, very long time. For over 10 years, since I met some young women who fled South Africa. I say fled. They said they emigrated. But the story they tell me is that the crime is getting crazy, the rape is crazy, and so they decided just disappear. I see Cassandra Fairbanks just posted a story. She had some quotes for me. Timcast.tv redirects to a Swedish luxury website? Does it really? I had my first website was timcast.tv because I couldn't afford to buy the .com. Somebody had it for like $1,000, and then I thought I bought it for like 2 years, but I bought it for 1, and then literally a day after it expired, someone snatched it up and emailed me and said they would sell it back to me for like $3,000, and I laughed and I was like, bro, I don't have any money. This was early 2012. I think I had like 10 grand in my bank, which is like, I'm not broke, but certainly not going to spend 30% of all of the money I have saved to buy my domain back. So I was able to buy, eventually, timcast.com. Oh, someone's laughing when I said 10K is broke, and it's like, what you need to realize is that 10K at the time is what I need to use to go around covering news stories. So while someone might be making, a 6-figure job, 100 grand per year, that's money that they put in their bank, they put in their savings, they put a portion in their 401k, and then the company pays their expenses for the work they have to do. The money I make, like having 10K in the bank, is literally, if that runs out, I can't go do news, right? And so it's basically, at the time, it's like I could never have less than that amount in savings because if a big story happened, I wouldn't be able to go to it. Someone said 100K a year isn't really that much. It depends relatively, yeah. How much were you making at Vice? Oh, man. Ooh, should I say? I'll just say it wasn't a lot. Because out of respect for Shane and the company, I'm just gonna not disclose how much, other than not a lot. Not six figures. We'll put it that way. Someone said, "Take off your hat. I'm gay and I want to jerk off." Sorry, bro. This isn't Chat Your Bait. Why are you silent in Antarctica? I'd love to go to Antarctica. Someone asked, why did I leave Vice? Oh, man. Vice was fun and awesome, and I got to hang out with Shane and Andrew and the people who run the company, and I think they're fucking awesome people. The problem is, I felt like Vice was turning from this cool underground, edgy, fun platform into a regular media company, and that's what it is now. It's a big regular media company. You know, what I'm trying to do now is like what one of my visions is trying to combine like the style of Vice and news with Casey Neistat. Casey's, I don't even know how to describe this guy. That guy's wow. He's a robot. He's some kind of weird cyborg sent from the future, because that dude he runs like 20 miles a day. He's just crazy, and he's got just very, very focused. I'll say that. I know Casey. We've talked about stuff, and he's an impressive motherfucker, and so is Shane. And so I see the stuff Casey does and why it works. I'm just fucking impressed by it, by his drive and his creativity, his style, and that's cool. But I do news, and I like how Vice used to be. So I'm trying to figure out, is there a way to do a daily vlog that's more focused on news and discussion? So obviously I don't do as much like riding my skateboard around. I do a little bit. But the bulk of my videos will be like me talking to somebody, or me talking about something, or going somewhere while something is happening. Someone said, Casey is a CNN shill. Well, you know, he got bought out by CNN, but... which, yeah, I'm not a huge fan of CNN, but he's doing his own thing, right? They're funding him, so I'm not super worried about it. I will say, you know, Casey's a marketing guy. I wouldn't call him a sellout. I'd call him a successful marketing guy. He's found a way to have fun building crazy robots, flying on drones, snowboarding in New York, making money doing it, appearing in movies, and I wouldn't call that selling out. I think he's doing exactly what he set out to do, and he's just wildly successful. You don't have to like Casey, certainly not. I don't think every video he does is this great, you know, novel, this great story, but I think when it comes to focus and work ethic and strategy, he's one of the people I certainly look up to, along with someone like Shane Smith. Really smart business, right? You don't gotta like Vice. They're business people, but. Yeah. Any thoughts on Syria? What did you say? Syria, I don't know. Someone said VBS was great. You should look up the old videos. Oh, I know about VBS. Man, what's his name? Trent? Was that his name? What was it? I can't remember that guy. Overall, I like your content, but some of your vids label seem to mislead us versus the content of its video. Well, I apologize for that. I don't know. I mean, start a GoFundMe to buy billboards. Put up the definition of bigot. Yes. Should we do this, guys? There's 1,300 or so people watching right now. Shall we start a fundraiser to buy billboards? You know, no, not in every major city. We should buy billboards or some kind of big ad thing near universities with the dictionary definition of the word bigot. I don't care if you think someone is racist or holds a prejudice against a race, a minority, or religion. But the word bigot means someone who doesn't tolerate other people's opinions, okay? In a sense, we're all bigots, because the idea that certain races are better than other races is an opinion. And if you don't tolerate that opinion, you are a bigot. Bigot is one of those words like ignorant, where we are all ignorant to some degree of something. Ignorant, lacking knowledge. Yes, in some way we're all lacking knowledge. In Berkeley, I just get frustrated when you hear the Antifa woman yelling, "You're all bigots," or I think they were saying like, "Racist, sexist, anti-gay, fascist bigots go away," and I'm like, but that's not what bigot means. You know, like the free speech rally in Boston, was so anti-bigotry that they were allowing deplorable people to come and speak there. In Berkeley, there was a guy with a sign that said, "De Goyim no," and some of the other attendees, the run-of-the-mill conservatives, were like, "We don't like that they have that sign, certainly, but they're allowed to have their opinion." I'm like, wow, you are not a bigot. It's the people who are coming to silence you that are bigots. So I don't know how, I don't know. I honestly have no idea how we would do that. What does it say? How does it feel to get such reliable feeds? I have 2 phones. Here, wait. Where's my other phone? Check this out. This phone's so amazing. Let me take the case off. I got the Galaxy S8 because I was in Berkeley and my stream cut off. And that was so horrible. There was like 10,000 people watching. And someone, I think, stickied like on 4chan or I don't know. I couldn't go on 4chan. I was on the ground. But apparently everyone was... Someone said Tim is funded by the Jews. Nope. I can't get this case off. Tim, why not expose Antifa? I see someone's commented that. How do you, legit question, how would you like me to expose Antifa? Why does... Confirmed shill. Interview Steve Bannon. I'd interview anybody. Yeah, certainly Steve Bannon. What you think of the identity movement? Identitarians, it's really interesting because I talked to Richard Spencer about this, and I certainly think he has the right to... there we go, got it. Look, if you want to be proud of who you are, you should be allowed to do it. If you get violent and you want to silence other people, shut people down, or oppress other people, you shouldn't be allowed to do it. We have a constitution in this country. A lot of people have criticized the Constitution for being, created at a time when this country was very racist and sexist. And I don't think we're going to dispute that. There's this guy at the He Will Not Divide Us thing who told me, his name was Paperboy Prince. You guys probably know who this guy was. He told me that Donald Trump is the least racist president we've ever had. And I was like, are you serious? I'm like, you're like Shia LaBeouf. And he said, come on, man. We've had presidents who owned slaves. And I was like, man, see this guy, he's right. He's certainly right. And he was like, and then he said he still thinks that Donald Trump is bad, but certainly the least, And I was impressed by that. So yeah. But the thing about the Constitution is that it has a system of amendments, and we can amend it to make things better. You guys remember Paperboy. So check this out. This is the Galaxy S8. It is considered to be the most fragile phone ever made. Okay? The most fragile. Apparently, because it's top to bottom glass across the whole thing, there's no bottom bar anymore. I think you can flip it upside down. No, you can't. It breaks on one drop. Yeah. Anyway, someone asked about the identity movement. I think Richard Spencer, his opinions have teetered back and forth a little bit. He said some things that kind of contradicted himself, and this is at least what people have told me somewhat. And but what he told me was, he said if China is a Chinese country, if Japan is a Japanese country, why can't they be a white country? And I understand the logic. I can't speak for Europe. I can say in the U.S., the U.S. was never a white country. It was certainly conquered by European colonialists. But it was split between Native Americans who are still here. And now for North America, you've still got a ton of First Nation, they call it in Canada, natives in America. And in Mexico, it's actually majority mestizos, which are Native American Spanish mix. So I don't think that applies to North America. But he's certainly allowed to have whatever opinion he likes. Someone said, have I seen The Red Pill? I have seen The Red Pill. I think I fell asleep halfway through, actually. I was watching it literally 3 days ago. Here's my opinion. No disrespect to Cassie J, but I didn't really get the feeling that she was genuine. When I watched it, she does her video diary, and when I saw the way she was speaking about being a feminist, I felt like she actually, from the start of it, was more pragmatic in her approach. I don't feel like she was a hardcore feminist when she first started the project. This is just my opinion, and certainly it's without merit, absolutely. I'm not Cassie J, and she has asserted her statements, but I feel like she was already open to the idea of men's rights before she started. So, how did you become friends with Lacey Green? Well, I went to VidCon last year, not last year. Was it? Wow, holy shit. Was this 2 years ago? Oh my god, it might have been that long. I was at VidCon, and there was this like super VIP party where only the super cool people get to go to, and UTA, the talent agency, invited me to come, and I was there. And this is funny. When a long time ago, back before she was pretty big at the time, but I think she only had like 300,000 subscribers. She followed me on Twitter, and I think it was because I worked at Vice, and so that's actually how I found out who she was. She followed me, and I was like, oh, who's this? It's like a YouTuber's following me. And then when I went to VidCon, I was like, oh my god, that's Lacey Green. And she was like, who are you? And I was like, I used to work at Vice. And she was like, oh, cool. Like, all right, cool. Like, let's hang out. And then I was like, cool. And then we talked, and I was like, yeah, she's a cool person. Everyone's like, Tim, every woman you've ever hung out with, you've had sex with. No, that's not true. I have not. No. I'll just, you know what? I shouldn't even say it, but I'll just say, like, Lacey's got a boy. Like, well, no, I'm not gonna get into it. It's her business. But no, I hang out with her every so often in LA. We don't hang out that much. Would you ever report for Rebel Media? Nah, probably not. Rebel is, like, hey, you do your thing, but they're super conservative. Nasty comments. Do you like fucking a potato? No, I'm not a big fan of potatoes. They're like empty starches, you know what I mean? It's Chris Ray. Chris Ray Gun. I'm going to pop over to Super Chat right here. I personally think red pilling is realizing the left is not compassionate, has become completely hypocritical. Man, it's the weirdest thing for me because you may have heard me say this before, but I grew up, I was an anarchist. I was a teenage anarchist. Skateboarding, super tight jeans, black shirt, punk rock. Tim, what does someone say? Tim made $1,000 while you nerds talk shit. Who wins? I didn't make $1,000. No way. I mean, someone gave $500. That's rad. Can you see how much money I made off these streams? I don't even know how to do that. I've got some insider information for y'all. You are old. I'm 31. I'm halfway to $1,000. Well, a ton of people have donated, so it's certainly more than 500. But one person gave $500. Like, wow, thank you. What was the scariest moment as a journalist? Was it Venezuela? Venezuela was, I wouldn't call it scary. You know what the scariest moment is? Look, you can't control what is scary, right? In Venezuela, it was really exciting. When I started getting these death threats and freaking out, I'm like, it was a bit of like adrenaline. I wouldn't say fear. Like, I didn't go into I don't know. It's hard to describe what fear is because it's not one thing, right? When you're sitting somewhere safe in your house and something happens and you feel that anxiety, it's kind of like fear, but you have no immediate action to take. So you can kind of just lay down and think about it. Then there's also the standing outside a street corner and you hear gunshots. That adrenaline rush and anxiety where you immediately have to do something. So they're kind of like different. So it's hard to say exactly what the scariest thing is. But I will say I think the scariest thing was in Ferguson when some, I guess you call them rioters, protesters, whatever you want to call them, gang members, started shooting their gun off. Pow, 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 pow. The police threw tear gas all around us, like some legit tear gas. And they came up to us and they're like, go now, run, run, run. And I'm like, which way? Like they're just telling us run. And I'm like, where? And so he points. I run full speed, jump over a fence, and immediately just fully inhale tear gas. And I'll tell you what's scary is when you inhale tear gas, it displaces the oxygen, and it can. Like my lungs constricted. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't move my chest. And so I'm walking down the street. I'm slowly getting more and more sluggish. It's becoming harder and harder to move. And my vision is slowly fading down to a point, like tunnels slowly closing. I'm passing out. I can't breathe, and I can't move my chest to breathe. So I'm just, and I'm walking, and I'm thinking to myself, like, holy shit, I'm going down. And then I just fall to the ground, fall on my back, and some kid walks out of the house with, I don't know what he had, a gallon of water, and he just poured it over my face. And when you pour water on someone, it triggers the deep breathe reflex. So I immediately went, and then all of a sudden my vision started to come back, and I was like, holy, whoa. I don't know how that kid knew to do that, but I was out. I thought I was in that was scary because I couldn't breathe. Not being able to breathe is scary, and like you're like losing consciousness. What's the worst nickname you ever got called? The worst nickname was this guy in my neighborhood insisted on calling me Moth. He was like, "It's the coolest name ever, Tim Moth. We'll call you Moth, man. You're the Moth. Tim the Mothman. Moth." And he was the only one who did it. And everyone was like, "Bro, that's like, you're stoned. That's the stupidest name ever. Don't call him that." And so, Moth. People call me Pool. Yo, Pool, like, what up, whatever. Growing up, I didn't have a first name or a last name. I was just Tim Pool. If my friends were sitting around, they'd be like, "I don't know, ask Tim Pool." They wouldn't call me Tim. And my brother was pretty much the same way. They wouldn't call him Chris. They'd be like, "Chris Pool, what are you doing?" If you died, you become Deadpool? Certainly. Mothcast. How much to start your own media company? Man, I don't know. Do you hang out with Sargon of Akkad? I don't. I've only actually talked to him a couple times. He hit me up one day and was like, "Would you like to do a video for my channel?" And I was like, "Sure." Do you know Gavin McInnes? I do. Not well. I've been to a couple different events where he was, and we've talked. And I think at most we may have exchanged a couple paragraphs between us. But I did that one interview with him. Yeah, well, hey, I don't know how the turnaround works on this, but we are over an hour, and I don't really feel like turning this off yet, so I'll go a little bit longer. But give a thumbs up. Pow. Pop that thumbs up button. Really appreciate everybody who hangs out on the live stream. I'm gonna let you guys let you in on some insider information. First, let me do this. I just had this lying around. Check this out. You know what this is? Does anybody know what this is? Doot 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 doot. I knew the first thing someone was gonna say was butt plug. Foam bullet. There you go. This is a rubber bullet from France. It's kind of soft here. And what is it, it's like 44 millimeter, I think. I'm not sure. But they have them, they'll have like 5, and they load it like and shoot people with it. And it hurts. Yeah. 40 millimeter. 44 millimeter. Some would say both. I think it's 40, right? Would you ever go on Joe Rogan's show? Here it comes! Getting asked about Joe Rogan again. Joe Rogan canceled on me twice. Joe Rogan invited me onto his show twice. Both times I flew out to LA and then he canceled on me at the last minute. So, long story short. If Joe Rogan asked me to go on his show and I was in Los Angeles, I would. But I think at this point, if I was in New York and he said, "Come out here and do the show," I'd be like, nah. I mean, Joe Rogan does a good show. Funny guy. MMA stuff, dig it. Personally, I'm offended that he canceled on me the way he did and kind of screwed me over twice. It is what it is. But I'm not stupid enough to, if I was offered to go on a show, to turn down an opportunity to go on that platform. So while I will say, in all honesty, yeah, I'm certainly pissed off that he screwed me over twice, I'm not going to hold it against him, and it would be a privilege and an honor to appear on his program. So, it is what it is. You got any more questions? Because otherwise, we'll wrap things up. What kind of hacks do you do? So, for those that are wondering, growing up, I had a lot of friends who were hackers, and they for the most part, like script kiddies, app kiddies, they didn't do anything too crazy. A couple of them are actually working in InfoSec. I used to run Ubuntu. Someone asked if I run Linux. I used to run Ubuntu dual boot, so I would do like Windows and Ubuntu, and I would use a lot of the open source programs on Ubuntu for most of my work because I love the command line for you don't got to browse the website. You can literally, if you know the program you want, you can just command line download it, and it'll just pull the file for you. It's pretty awesome. But I haven't really used Ubuntu in a long time simply because mostly what I do on my computer is just Adobe Suite stuff. So, I don't really do that. But what I specialized in within the hacker community was mostly social engineering. So if you know what that means, it's basically like convincing people to do things using, it's like human hacking, right? It's like phishing. The majority of hacks that you hear about are social engineering. It's like the most common thing people do, probably because it requires no tools. It just requires you understanding how people work. And so instead of doing any evil stuff with hacking, I started doing nonprofit fundraising where I used my ability to social engineer to do sales, which is not too dissimilar. It's basically sales is like, can you convince someone to do something? And what I was selling was memberships for nonprofits, things like the ACLU. Hack the planet. I'm a hacker, I do sales. Well, that's a bit of a simplification, but I'm a hacker, I do social engineering, and I used my skills in social engineering to fundraise for nonprofits. Tim is socially engineering people this channel. Yeah, I guess technically. Thoughts on Lauren Southern? Oh man, thoughts on Lauren Southern. You know what? I'm just gonna come down hard on Lauren. You know what? Lauren's a nice person. She's pretty savvy. I can certainly criticize a lot of stuff she's done. I certainly disagree with her on a lot of opinions, but she is for free speech, and I'd put Lauren in a similar bracket that I would in terms of reasonability and discussion as I would with Lacey. They both have opinions on opposite ends of each other, but they're not crazy people. They're willing to have a discussion, and they're willing to take new information and adjust their viewpoints based on relevant facts. So Lauren's cool. She's fun to hang out with. I would definitely criticize her choice in going on the boat and blocking the NGOs, but that's about as far as I get. So I'm not gonna, scream at her or anything. I'm gonna be like, well, you shouldn't do that, but whatever, you do you. Lauren's gonna Lauren, right? So. Please go to South Korea. Hell yeah. What would your best advice to someone thinking about new wave journalism? How do you conduct research for upcoming events and build credibility? Let me see what's on my computer right now. Is my computer broken? So this computer's got some kind of problem where it just shuts off randomly. Let me see what you get to see. Okay, you can see that's my BioShock, right? Do you guys like BioShock? I love BioShock. I like the original BioShock more than I like BioShock Infinite, but BioShock Infinite's still pretty good. And then over here I have my, it says Timcast on my computer because I'm so cool. I want to show you guys something. BioShock is a dumpster game. Someone said check your cooling system. Yes, that's what I looked at, and I have an Alienware computer, and so I believe it is very likely the cooling system. But my computer isn't overheating when it shuts down. It's not. I don't do anything with it. So I'm gonna show you this. I'm gonna show you this. So over here we have what's called TweetDeck. BioCock. It's hard to see because of the light. Maybe I can. Maybe I'll just. Is that any better? So this is, I've got breaking news right here, my notifications, on general news feed, my home, this is the people I follow, activity, and Riot. And so this window is, all these windows are open and active, and I can see them updating in real time. And then I do a general Twitter feed, and I read a lot of, I'll go to Reddit, and I'll go to certain subreddits. I try to avoid news and world news because they have kind of a moderation problem where it's problematic for me as a journalist if a news event happens and it turns out to be like Islamic terror, for instance, and the mods of news and world news will delete these comments or delete these news stories. So I try to go to other outlets as well. But you go to the subreddit and you go to new, and you'll see some of the newest posts. Someone said, what did I get, Hirons? And run the memory scan and hard drive scan stuff. Oh, good. That's good advice. I actually have Hirons. I have an old one. I've got, where is it? Here it is. This right here is my 32 gig USB. It's also got a neodymium magnet on the back. So this is kind of like a utility for me. It's got a ton of crazy ass stuff encrypted on it. It's got Ubuntu, kind of old version. It's got Hirons, and I think it does. But the magnet is for causing, like if I want to wipe a mag strip on something or for whatever reason. Come to Central Oregon soon. Yeah, Hirons hasn't been updated in ages. Thoughts on Sweden? Tommy Robinson. I was actually he hit me up. I was there, and then I got caught up on something else. But Tommy's an interesting guy, and what he's doing is interesting. I certainly don't subscribe to the belief that simply because someone like Tommy takes issue with a religion, that he's somehow a white supremacist. People have criticized him for being a part of the English Defense League as like a racist organization, and I don't know a whole lot about it. So as far as it goes with who he is, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but as long as he's criticizing a religion and a culture, I would not call that racism. I'd call it religiousism, culturalism. Tommy Loren opinion. You know, I went on Tommy's show once, and she was just. I felt like she kind of just yelled at me the whole time. Yeah. But it's like a character, right? You build a brand, you build a character, and then you make money doing that character. Do you do any programming? I used to program video games. I used nothing's fancy. I did ActionScript and Flash, and I had a program called Multimedia Fusion. I used to make video games. And I made one game where you played this guy who was navigating a factory that made little green monsters that ate everything. And the point of the game was to shut the factory down because the little monsters were leaving and eating everything. And there were like big pistons that would like crush you and stuff. Man, I was like 13 when I made that. You know what? I feel bad because that was actually a pretty impressive video game. I could probably sell it right now. Too bad. Which countries will you visit in the future? I have no idea. South Korea is probably coming up. I might leave to Korea tomorrow. No one cares about your video game. My video game is the best video game ever. Yeah, Chechnya would be great. German election, yes. Hamburg for the G20, that's coming up. Luke wants me to go to Bilderberg. Luke was like, you gotta come to Bilderberg, man. And it's great. You get to like run around and like yell at people, and sometimes they'll talk to you. And I'm like, I'm not gonna go to Bilderberg, dude. Let's do a couple more questions, and then I'm gonna wrap things up because we're going on 72 minutes here. But this has been a whole lot of fun. I really appreciate you guys hanging out the live stream. Favorite band? Ooh. You know what? I gotta say my favorite band's probably Paramore. Yeah. Paramore is awesome. Hayley Williams is awesome. And so I'm gonna say this. I'm just gonna say it. After I covered Ferguson, I got a notification on my phone, and it said that Hayley was following me, and I was like, "That's so cool! Like, how cool is it?" Because I've been a fan of Paramore forever. And then she followed me, and then I DM'd her like, "Your music's great, good stuff." You guys are so mad that I like Paramore. I've only heard a couple songs off their new album, but I like them. When you ask me what my favorite band is, it's certainly not that. I think they have the best songs in the world, but I think Paramore consistently has good music. They've got some. I don't know. It's like my style. I grew up punk rock. I told you guys. So they were kind of like lighter, more mainstream pop punk stuff. Some of my all-time favorite songs come from different bands, but some of these other bands, like I like The Naked and the Famous, Group Love, Muse. Muse was my favorite band for a long time because they consistently have really, really good music. So I'd put it between Muse and Paramore. And this is my guitar. Bad Religion. Oh man, I think I know. I used to know. Nope, I used to know how to play American Jesus. Wait, do I have a pick? At this point, I'm just bored, so I'm gonna play American Jesus. I've never played it before. Wait, I haven't played it in like 10 years. Boom. That's Bad Religion. Oh, you know what I'll do? GG. Someone name a band. I haven't played my guitar in like 3 months. And so now for fun, and because I could turn the stream off now, or I can just do what I was going to call my mom. Yeah, I hate to call my mom. My view on guns is that it's a urban versus rural issue. People who live in cities tend to not like guns because they're surrounded by people all the time and the likelihood of accidents are high. And people who live in rural areas tend to like guns because the likelihood of accidents is lower, and there are real reasons why you want to have guns when you live in the middle of nowhere. Blink-182. Oh my god. It's hard to sit in this chair and do this. There we go. Rock the fuck out on American Jesus. Now I'm terrible at the guitar. Propaganda. There you go, Propaganda. Ska sucks. Yep, I certainly know Propaganda. Green Day. How does that song go by Green Day? What can I play by Green Day? 21 Pilots, Can't Do It. Smash Mouth, All Star. Tim, you are a cool, normal dude. I guess so. Sublime. I ain't got no crystal ball. Lagwagon. Yeah, I know Lagwagon. Oh God, what's that song by Lagwagon? Is that May 16th? Lagwagon. Do they have penguins and polar bears? What timeline is this? Play Chatelet Inner Heaven. I can't play Mayonnaise by Smashing Pumpkins. I'm going to say this. At this point, the Timcast Weekly live thing has come to an end, and now simply because I'm bored and have nothing better to do, I'll play some guitar. Kickflip. Coheed and Cambria. No, I can't play that. Look, honestly, I haven't played my guitar in a really long time. Millencolin, you're right. That is Penguins and Polar Bears. What's the Lagwagon song that I know? Timcast Unplugged. Mothcast. I'm also like kind of allergies. Rock out with my cock out. Led Zeppelin. Haven't played in a long time. How about I need to tune my guitar. Social D. God, I used to know some Social D stuff. Everybody who's leaving, take care. Have fun. Thanks for hanging out. Boulevard of Broken Dreams. Nope, can't play that. Everybody's like, I'm tired of watching Tim Blay music, and they're all leaving. Nothing Else Matters. Nope, can't play that. Misery Business. Can't play that. Nope. If you play Social D, I'll unsubscribe. Oh, I'm not going to play that. Radiohead. No, I can't play Radiohead anymore. I need to cut my nails too. Play a song you know well. Taylor Swift. I can play Taylor Swift. Rock Lobster. I want to see some good Wonderwall. I haven't played Wonderwall in like 10 years, man. Dragon Force. Oh, certainly. Certainly. Tenacious D, Painted Black, Breed, The Offspring. I can play like every Offspring song ever. I just learned Black Hole Sun, but then I stopped playing it. I can try and play Audio Slave. Yeah, I was learning Like a Stone. Like a Stone is one of my favorite songs of all time. The lyrics are absolutely incredible. I know a bunch of Death Cab. Black Hole Sun. Yeah, look, I haven't played my guitar in a really long time, so Some people are like pulling up some songs that I'm like, yeah, I do know that. I have to like sit down and go over it again. I'm a virtuoso. Give up journalism. Oh man, you got no idea. I'm gonna play for you guys an original here that I haven't played in a little while. You guys ready? You guys ready for some OG stuff? Do I remember how to play the OG stuff? Here we go. Remember when we used to hope for peace, but villains weren't only on TV screens. A market made up of broken hopes and dreams that take you back into mediocrity. 2, 3, 4. Taking more, taking spite of this, and focus on the ways. I guess you never changed that day. It's hard to believe that you mean nothing to me, 'cause you used to be everything. Remember when we used to fight for peace, but heroes were only on TV screens. 2, 3, 4. My heart is made up of broken hopes and dreams, and take me back into mediocrity. 2, 3, 4. Taking more, taking spite of this, and focus on the ways. I really wished you'd change that day. It's hard to believe that you mean nothing to me, 'cause you used to be everything. There are words in a book about what we've been through, and there are lines in a script written for me and you. Take it all inside and pray it works. Another aching in my heart starts to burn. Taking more, taking spite of this, and focus on the ways. I really wished you'd change that day. It's hard to believe that I'm moving on with my dreams, 'cause you were never there for me. There are words in a book about what we've been through, and there are lines in a script written for me and you. So take it all inside and pray it works. Another aching in your heart starts to burn. I wrote that song. That song is called I Wrote That Song. That whistle. Yeah, you know what song I really like? I don't know if I remember how to play it, but it's Ambulance LTD Anecdote. but I don't think I... Any song requests? I'm just bored at this point. Thank you. I haven't played in song. My calluses are all gone. You guys want to hear a song called "Baby I'm an Anarchist" by a band called Against Me? So I used to be a big fan of a band called Against Me. I'm still pretty much a fan of them. I think their music's pretty good, but I'm just not, listening to all the punk rock stuff. No. So there's a song called "Baby I'm an Anarchist," and like the anarchists, they all know the words of the songs because one of the lines is, "When it came time to throw bricks through that Starbucks window, you left me all alone." It's criticizing liberals. I'll play one more song, and then I'm gonna dip out. And this is just for fun. I wish I could play a lot of these songs. I can't. House of the Rising Sun. I think I can play that. How does... Fuck. I haven't played that song in too long. Plus my nails are long. I haven't cut them and... Wait. Nope. I can't remember how to play it. Sorry, guys. Is it A-C-G-E? Oh yeah, that's what it is. It's A-C-D-F. And then E, A minor. F-A-G you said, so this song is F-A-G. Let's try, my fingers are starting to hurt. I haven't played this in a long time. Wait. Fuck. Man, I'm screwing it up. Here we go. I can't do it. Yeah, I was trying to play Karma Police. I haven't played it in way too long. This man that song in a long time. Oh, yeah. I play guitar, drums, bass. I mean, if you play guitar, you play the bass. Sing, skateboard, computer games, graphic design, video editing. It's really hard for me to hire people. New song every week. Writing songs is actually really, really easy. Pop songs are really easy to write. You just pick like 4 generic chords. So like every sad song is like A minor, F, C, G. Kind of like sentimental song. And then you just make up a melody out of the top of your head and sing words about like your girlfriend breaking up with you or something. I don't know any Oasis, unfortunately. I'll do 8 more minutes. Or I might just stop, I don't know. If someone has any good suggestions, otherwise I'm gonna get off. Indian song. Pretty generic. Pop music is super generic and really easy to do. Another OG. An original song. Let's see if there's an original song that I haven't played this song in a really, really long time. I'll see if I can play it. Oh, AFI? Sure. I can actually play AFI. Nirvana. I used to be really good at Redemption Song. That's easy. Rise Against. God, there's just so many songs that I would be like, yes, I used to be able to play that. Now I don't. Nirvana. I feel like there's a lot of Nirvana stuff that I wouldn't know how to play. Maybe Foo Fighters. Going drop D. Of this song. Hello, I've waited here for you ever long. Tonight I throw myself into and out of the red she sang. I used to know how to play Archie Box. I just don't know how to play any songs anymore, man. 7 Nation Army, I used to know how to play that. Kimcast. Blues Traveler. You know what, man? I feel so bad because literally like a month ago I learned a bunch of songs. Hook by Blues Traveler. It's basically just like, what is it, Paco Bell's Canon. 40 Ounces of Freedom. I used to know all these songs. I just don't know any of them anymore, unfortunately. Zebrahead. I actually used to know a Zebrahead song because of Tony Hawk. I should interview Lacey Green. Yeah, I'm going to LA soon. Maybe, unless I go to Korea. And if I do, maybe she'll be down. Lacey's got her own channel. She doesn't need to do interviews. Green Day. I used to know a ton of Green Day. Just keep suggesting stuff. I'm looking at the comments. Maybe there'll be something that I know. Pennywise, I don't know any Pennywise. The Strokes, no. G.G. Allen, that guy was crazy. Elvis, no. I Saw Red, good song. I used to know how to play it. I don't know how to play it anymore. Anal Cunt, oh yeah, that's a band. I don't know if there's a song actually called Chatelet. Someone keeps saying Chatelet. Thin Lizzy, City, and Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. You know, that's the worst thing about lessons. They wanted me to learn Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, and I was like, I don't want to learn that. Number of the Beast. What was that one song? No, I can't do it. Bad Religion, Vanilla Ice Slayer, Ain't No Sunshine, Interpol. Oh, God, I used to know how to play Obstacle 1. This is just me looking at songs like, I can't play that anymore. It's been too long. Twinkle Twinkle is a national treasure. Misfits. How's that song go? Play it. Oh man, I used to know how to play Black Hole Sun. I just learned it, and I lost it all. I could play an original song. Panic Switch is a good song. I can't play it anymore. Like, see, here's the thing. You know, a couple years ago, I played all the time. Actually, not even that. Like last year, I've got 3 guitars. Metallica, I was gonna play. What is it? Rick Astley. I know how to play Hotel California too, man. It's just it's just been so long. I don't even have calluses on my fingers anymore. Yeah, it was Sandman. Pixies. MXPX. All right. That was MXPX, Chick Magnet. But that was the bass line, that wasn't the actual. Suicidal Tendencies. Yep. Last Caress, I don't think I know that one. I'm trying to think of what song I know I could just play. Anything. Star Spangled Banner. No Effects. Johnny Cash. Nirvana. Yeah. I just can't play any songs anymore. That's sad truth, guys. I just don't have any songs anymore. They're all gone. Play an OG. I can certainly play Against Me. Do you guys know The Used? Against Me is transgender. That is, yeah. Tom. Now, Grace? Maybe I'm getting the name wrong. Forgive me. The Used, Box of Sharp Objects. Laura Jane Grace. There you go. Space Odyssey, good song. I'm just gonna sit here I'm not playing anything. Jumper. I just can't play any of these songs, man. I can't play anything. Smash Mouth, Wonderwall. I'll tell you what, next week I'll actually have some of these songs back. Burt McCracken, hell yeah. Tenacious D, yup. I wonder if I can play. I can try and play a song that I wrote recently. No, I don't think I can. I can write a new song on the spot. Do you guys know? I don't know if I can play. I can try and play a song that I wrote recently. No, I don't think I can. I can write a new song on the spot. screwed it up. Felt like clouds filled the sky when you looked at me and said goodbye. It felt like the rain came down when you looked away and turned around. Oh, oh. And now it's kinda like I lack the strength to carry by myself. In time we'll find that it's kinda like 1,000 arms reached around my side to hold me tight. It's better than before. Yeah, I need to end this. I'm just playing the guitar now. The stream's going, right? All right, very, very, very last song. I'm gonna make up one on the spot. Write a song about being at a free speech rally. I hate this shit. It makes me want to quit. Okay, all right. I'm gonna write a song right now, and I'm gonna use a generic chord structure. Antifa hates free speech. They want to shut down people's rights. They don't like the light. That's why they wear a disguise. Preach it. And that was an unbiased song because Antifa actually doesn't like free speech. They believe it is hate speech is not protected. And so there you go. Well, that was certainly fun, and I went 40 minutes over what I normally do. But thank you all so much for hanging out. This will about wrap it up. If you haven't already, you can subscribe. Follow me on Twitter at TimCast. Thank you everybody who super chatted, and I guess people are like, I made a bunch of money on super chat. And the last thing I'm going to say is insider information is that YouTube is going to be pushing super chat a whole lot more now that the adpocalypse is in full swing. So yeah, stay tuned. And I will have another video tomorrow. I went to MIT today and checked out some robots. So it's not going to be the most pressing of breaking news, but every so often I'll do a video that's not so crazy blowing stuff up. Thanks all so much for watching, and I will see you all next week at 8 or tomorrow at 6 p.m. Bye-bye.